So good evening, and tonight I have a very special treat for you guys as I interview this week's Kelly Strayhorn headliner, Sean Dorsey of Sean Dorsey Dance. Sean Dorsey is an award-winning San Francisco-based choreographer, dancer, and writer, not to mention the first acclaimed transgender modern dance choreographer of the U.S. Tuesday, I had the privilege of meeting Sean, as well as the dancers in the show at the traditional welcome dinner KST typically holds, and it was a very, very good event. We got to interact with the dancers. We got to have conversation with Sean, and it was just great. We got to learn a little bit more about the show, which we'll also do here today. So I'm going to introduce our guest of honor, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you just coming from rehearsal. How's everything going?
It's been great. We just came from a run of the show, and we're about to do our dress rehearsal tonight, costume and lights and sound. So
everything's just going smooth.
Rolling along.
So first, I'm going to ask you, what are your pronouns? What pronouns do you go by?
Thank you for asking.
Absolutely.
I prefer he and his and those spectrum.
Yes. So first and foremost, congratulations on your reviews on the show that you've done all around. How many different cities have you been to with the show so far?
With my company, I've toured to 26 cities across the U.S. so far. With this show, I believe this is our 6th city, and we'll be taking The Missing Generation, the show, to about 20 cities over the next 2 years.
Yeah, so exactly how long have you been dancing?
So, unlike many professional dancers, I did not grow up at the ballet bar. Mm-hmm. As a young person, I danced a lot in my living room to my Sesame Street Fever albums and my Fame record. I did a lot of youth theater and music and writing, but never did any formal training in dance. And I think part of that was I just never saw people like me in dance. You know, I'm transgender and queer, and don't see so many people like us in modern dance, or contemporary dance.
Absolutely.
And also my whole identity was really, I felt like my path was going to be about traditional activism, and I had a real preconceived notion of what that looked like. So it was like I had to be going to meetings and coalition meetings every night of the week, and I entered grad school for community economic development and never even imagined that I could be an artist. For me, that was not the way to forge social change and social justice. That was a selfish, unrelated thing to do. So I really came to dance training quite late. I started doing hobby classes when I was around probably 24, 25, at nighttime when I was going to university, and had a teacher say, you should think about being a dancer, which floored me. And long story short, I decided to take a year off and try dance, and I just never looked back. I got that this, I could create work that was trans and queer, and this would be how I could best do my activism, actually. Was bringing trans and queer bodies and stories into dance and bring them on stage and bring communities together with that work.
So you basically just heard your calling.
I did. I finally stopped ignoring it, and yeah.
What dancers or choreographers inspire your work or you as a choreographer?
I think that so many artists even beyond dance inspire me. Like I said, I do not yet live in a time in history when I have a lot of, or any, trans peers in contemporary dance. So for me, I'm also inspired by, certainly dance artists like Bill T. Jones, as an out gay black man, really pioneering, forging new space in dance is huge for me, but also artists like writer and performance artist Kate Bornstein, who's not a dance artist, but I'm also a writer, and all of my dances are all accompanied by a sound score where there's story spoken, or there's text in it. So writing's really important for me. So I feel like I had to have my mentors and inspiration come from, visual arts, writing, film,
from every platform.
Theater, yeah.
Can I add that it is amazing to me to share space with a member of the trans community that is doing this work. It's like we've been saying, there's like far few in between of us doing artistic work or dance or anything to do with the arts, so it is definitely, it's refreshing to be in the presence of a brother in the trans community. Thank you so much for everything you're contributing. What role did your transition play in your journey? Like, did it have maybe any type of factor of your decision, or did it hinder you? Maybe did it open doors, or?
I would say both. There were certain ways that being trans, there was some pain and challenges around that in terms of things like many of us are familiar with around, I have to go change before rehearsal, I have to use the bathroom. I was really blessed to get to work with, as a dancer, choreographers who really didn't gender the roles and the dancing, but it still came down to like, I gotta pee, I gotta change my clothes. So, and also just, there are times when it just is a lonely thing to not have peers that I can talk to or relate to as other contemporary dance choreographers, or I can't yet hold an audition for trans dancers and have 100 people come and, yeah, that will happen. Someday. But also, I just feel so blessed and privileged that, I can be out in the world today and make the work I do because of the amazing elders and ancestors who were artists before me and activists before me who made space. And so, I'm just so mindful and grateful that I feel like I'm dancing on the road that they created, and so it's such a blessing to get to be making the work and live at a time in history that I feel a lot of love and appreciation beyond trans communities for the work, people who are willing to show up and open their minds or open their hearts and